Hello, everyone. You're all very welcome back to Underground Cinema. As you know, we're only weeks away from the 15th Underground Cinema Awards, which will be held in the magnificent Royal Marine Hotel in Deliri on November 16th. We're trying to interview as many directors, actors, producers, crew as humanly possible at the moment on the run up to the awards. And delighted to say that I've got with me today Niamh McAllister. Niamh has directed a superb short film called Dead on Arrival. You're very welcome, Niamh.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Yeah, it's a super film, and let me just tell everyone, it's been nominated for Best Comedy, it's picked up a Best Editor nod, it's picked up a Best Sound Design nod, it's picked up a First AD award nod as well. This is the very first time we've done this for our First AD. And then finally, Niamh, you've been nominated for the Rising Star Award. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm delighted, really am.
Yeah, the Rising Star Award is it's one of my favorite ones because it's in recognition of new directors, their first time usually on a short or a feature film. And not only are you the director of this film, you're also the producer and the writer as well.
Yeah, I was wearing a lot of hats in this.
Can you tell us a little bit about Dead on Arrival and what's it all about?
Yeah, so Dead on Arrival is the story of two nurses, um, one of whom has just murdered her husband, and they have absolutely no morals. And it's a 12-minute short about what they're going to do next with this body and what they're going to do about the husband's old dementia suffering grandmother who has witnessed the event, and they're not quite sure if she's going to, be compos mentis enough to report them to the police and what they're going to do with her. So it's it's a fun little 12-minute journey into these two horrendous women's attempts
Yeah,
to cover up the murder.
I love what you call these two nurses. They're morally bankrupt, is what you call them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because I came up with the concept for Dead on Arrival during lockdown, when obviously nurses were doing the Lord's work and were saving the country, and I thought, wouldn't it be a fun paradox if these two nurses were absolute beeps?
Yeah, I like this is just pure comedy, Niamh. I mean, there's no social commentary here at all. This is just pure escapism for 12 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, it's kind of exactly my taste. That's what I wanted to write. Something that's just, I guess it was an escape for me writing it in a way, because as I said, it was lockdown and I was just consuming anything funny to just get us through it. So we were seeing enough horrific stuff on the news at that time. I was like, oh, yeah, let's write something funny.
Do you know something, Niamh? We've been talking about this. If you look back at a lot of these interviews now over the next couple of days, we've been talking about the writing during COVID an awful lot, actually. So what we've noticed at Underground Cinema is, especially in the last 2 years, some of the script writing is absolutely superb, and we can tell when we're reading it or when we're watching it on the screen that an awful lot of time has gone into this script, and it's usually what we guess, and we've asked everybody. It's a COVID script. People have so much time on their hands that they came up with the most creative and crazy ideas, and it's just making for such good film.
Yeah, and it was never my intention to make it into a short film. I was doing a writing course at the time of COVID, with Barry McAvoy called Flying Turtle Productions, and I was just writing for the sake of it. And then I think maybe it was the fact that we were all trapped in a house, but this short film came out of me that was all set in one house, in one room, which is amazing when you want to make a film, yourself, and you're on a budget. It's one location.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that, I mean, the setting is very intimate. It takes place over one evening within a single house. It's very confined, but it works really well for comedy. It really does.
Yeah. I think the confines of it, and yeah, just kind of keeping the setting, as you say, intimate. You're kind of then forced to be like, okay, what are they going to do next? They're stuck here. They're in a room with this old woman. You know.
Yeah, and this film was shot in your late grandfather's house, if I remember rightly.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So my grandfather, he unfortunately passed away during COVID, and we then had the house, and I had written this film, and we were going to sell the house then. My mum was working away on that, and I thought, ooh, maybe we could have like one final hurrah in Grandad's house. And it really felt like that, Dave. It was 3 days of just everybody banding together. And when I say everyone, like my dad is listed in the credits as the he was on food. He was making us all soup and sandwiches, and so was Oren's mum, our first AD. You know, it really felt like a celebration of that house and the memories there. And I remember just like we did the big cleanup afterwards, and I was just like, I just took a moment to be like, oh, this was such a special thing to do in this house before we let it go, you know. And
Absolutely,
now,
yeah.
now
It's
some poor person who's bought the house doesn't even know that a comedy horror film has been shot there, blood all over the walls.
yeah. I'm sure your granddad's looking down, getting a great laugh about what you guys were up to, and I can imagine, when it comes to like the comic timing in this film is absolutely superb. I mean, it really is. So yourself and Donna Doherty, sorry, Diana Doherty, is
Yeah,
that correct? Did I get it right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys are superb together. You really are. Your comic timing is excellent. I can only imagine the outtakes. It must have been. You can sort of feel when you're watching the film. This film was great fun to make. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. I can imagine. I can just imagine the crack that you guys had when trying to make it.
Oh, absolutely. And, from everybody, like Diona, obviously, we have a great rapport together. We're good friends. And we met on another comedy show, and I knew we had that kind of back and forth. And she's got this great, dry,
Yeah,
deadpan sense of humor, where you never quite know if she's joking or not. So I thought she'd be a great Shelley. And yeah, Helena Barine, I mean, she plays Barbara, the grandmother in the film, and she had us in stitches during the making of this, just in the way she gets on. And yeah, as you say, everyone just we had an absolute ball making it. It was very fun. I mean, it was stressful. Like we had a tight turnaround schedule, but it was yeah, it was everyone banding together and having a laugh while we did it. You know.
yeah. And you've got so many responsibilities. So acting and directing. It's difficult at the best of times. You're a theater actress, and you know what it's like. If you've ever directed and starred in a play as well, it's very hard. Sometimes you need a second set of eyes to keep an eye on things, especially when you're playing a lead. Did you find it a bit of a challenge to try and act and direct at the same time, or were you well used to it?
Oh my gosh, it was a challenge to say the least, because I don't even have a lot of film experience. My experience is predominantly theater, so this was me trying to step into that as well. Um, but yeah, it was a challenge, and it wasn't something that I took lightly either. I actually wanted a director on it, but just in terms of money and stuff, I was like, "Oh God, I think I'm gonna have to do this." And I was encouraged by friends to be like, yeah, go for it. Like, no one is gonna have sat with this film longer than you have during lockdown, as you say. So give it a bash. And having, as you say, the second set of eyes, I feel like I had like five sets of eyes on the set, because everyone, as you say, everyone wanted to make this as good as it could be. Oren, my first AD, Oren McNulty, it was his first time being first AD as well. He's an actor. And yeah, he was amazing for being that second set of eyes on the day. And the same with Michael Foster, our DOP. Like he really guided me through shots and setting things up and explaining how we would, move one shot to another and stuff. I think without them, it really would have been me with a iPhone shooting it, for YouTube. I think those guys really helped me elevate the film to the standard that it eventually got to.
Yeah, like I was going to mention Michael because he did an absolutely super job, and the relationship between a director of photography and a film director is really important. They're two crucial people. They work very, very closely with each other. Obviously, Michael's done work before, because some of his angles that he's used, and again, trying to shoot in a very tight, confined space is very difficult, but he really pulled it off.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Honestly, Michael, I can't thank him enough for coming on board. He really was the one, as I say, who elevated the whole thing. And Michael's coming on board made me think, oh my goodness, maybe we could make something really good here, you know. Um, I should say he's got a real sense of comedy as well. I think we worked well with that, where he would come up with these ideas for shots. Like I remember it was his idea to put at one point you have a POV of me
Yeah.
killing the husband, and he decided to put the knife in the POV, so it's like I'm coming at the yeah, he was super creative, and yeah, I absolutely loved working with him. Big shout out to Michael.
Yeah, I mean, also it's lit really well. Like there's great production values here. I mean, it looks like something that that you'd see on TV. The production values are so good. It's
Yeah,
polished. The grade is very good. Did you enjoy the as a first time director then when it was all shot? I'm sure you were delighted to get it over the line then. But the
yeah,
next big job then is to sit down in post production and put the whole thing together. Did you enjoy
yeah.
that process?
I mean, it was it was real. This whole thing has been me putting one foot in front of the other the whole time, because I didn't even really think about what the editing process would be like. I kind of thought, oh, once we've shot it, I can be like, woo. But yeah, the edit, and it's such a testament to Joshua, who just kind of again guided me through it, and Robin in Outpost. They were incredible. I remember seeing the first cut, and Dave, I didn't even know what a first cut meant at the time. So I saw the first cut, and obviously as a comedy, it's all about timing. So I see this, cobbled together thing, and I went, "Oh God, I've made a huge mistake here. Like, this isn't going to be good at all." But then it was Josh being like, "No, Neve, this is when we put the puzzle pieces together, and it's gonna get better. But we just need to make sure that it's flowing right and stuff." So yeah, he really was amazing and super generous with his time, and really patient with me in dealing with someone who's never done this before. Yeah, a really, really talented man as well. Again, it's such a good eye for the comedy. I feel like we were all. I just managed to somehow get people who all had the same sense of humor on this. So we were all able to be like, yeah, this will be great if we did this. And, we were on the same page.
Yeah, like it's 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 fast paced comic timing, and and there's a dark tone to the story as well, which is also difficult to deal with. But he did an absolute cracker of a job. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, then the sound is really important. You're learning all about this, so sound is crucial. So when I get a short film, when a short film comes into us, it could be the most beautiful looking short film ever made, stunning landscapes coming in, wonderful looking actors and actresses, and then the sound you can't hear it, or it's up and it's down, and what happens then is, as a film festival director or a programmer, they start getting switched off, and
Yeah.
it's crucial you get the sound right,
Mhm.
because all your hard work is going to be for nothing. So I think Maid Mulholland did an absolute super job there in the sound design. It's fantastic.
She really, really did. She smashed it. I think Dead on Arrival, the sound, the music is almost a character in itself. It kind of comments on what's happening, and it punctuates little beats of comedy as it goes. So yeah, Maeve, she really, as you say, she knocked it out of the park. And yeah, that was a big learning for me, was sound too. I remember Michael saying to me, "Who have you got on sound?" And I was like, "Oh, don't know yet." And he was like, "Neve, you need to get like someone real good. We got to capture the sound." Because I again, like you said, he'd seen shorts where the sound had let the people down. So we had Andrew Graham on set, and Katya Solomatina, who was uh, our boom operator, and those two, yeah, really captured the sound. And then we passed it over to Maeve, who just seamlessly kind of brought it all together and just created like an atmosphere that when you're watching, well, you don't, because you obviously watch a lot of films and you know what you're talking about, but for someone like me, when I'm watching a film, you almost, if it's done well, you almost don't even notice the sound, because it's just,
Yeah.
it's all adding to the feeling, and it's absorbing you into the story. And I feel like Maeve was really able to do that with this, and it was a lot of back and forth of me being like, well, it took us a while to really figure out what the scoring of Dead on Arrival was going to be. And I was with Fred, and we discussed a lot of ideas back and forth. And then this idea of it being classical music, we thought would be very funny because of how dramatic the film is, but also how kind of deadpan the actors are and how they don't really take the situation all that seriously. So we thought this big dramatic like Beethoven music would be, Mozart. No, it is Beethoven. Oh Jesus, one of those guys.
Classic.
Beethoven music. Yeah, they're dead anyway. But yeah, Beethoven music would be great, and then me have just kind of seamlessly worked it all together. So yeah, I'm delighted with what she was able to come up with.
If you were to do it all again, would you do it differently, or are you happy with the final result?
I think, yeah, you're always looking at things that could be done differently, and tweaks that I would have made. But honestly, I think I did the best that I could have done at the time with the knowledge that I had at the time, um, and going forward, I just think this process, I've just learned so much about everything, and just made relationships with incredible people. Um, but yeah, definitely, I think also as an actor, you kind of watch yourself back. It's very difficult. That was hard in the editing process too, to be like, oh God, what am I doing? But you just have to be kind to yourself as well and be like, as I say, we've done the best that we could with what we had at the time, and going forward, I'm ready to try new things, and I have these little notes for myself at the back of my head of things that I would remember going into a new project.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the. I've just going back to the set again. I'm just on the writing.
Mm.
Was there any time when there was? Did you do any improvisation at all, or was it all very much stuck to the script?
We actually didn't improvise all that much with it, because I think I was aware of like the edit was coming and stuff, and sometimes when you're improvising, I just didn't want it to be a complete, I think when when you're a director and you're having actors improvise, you have to be really on it in terms of keeping your eye on the bigger picture of how this is all going to link together. And obviously, as I say, I was wearing a lot of hats, so we just had to like really concentrate on exactly what was on the page to get it done. And I wanted it to be snappy as well, so I think the original script that I wrote was like 20 pages long, and I just really edited it right down, cut all the fat so that it could just like, pop along like that. But like I am a comedy improviser as well. It's one of my passions. So I would love to do a film where we get to just improvise and see what comes out, because it's so exciting.
It could be a good one-act play when I was watching it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, as an actor myself, I was thinking, you could easily workshop and come out with some comedy gold with this. But I think you're right when it comes, and that's for play and maybe developing something, a little further. But for a short film, yeah, improvisation is good. But if you're on a tight schedule, and especially for a first time, you're just unsure of what you're actually doing. And if you started improvising, it'll make it, too much. It can make it very difficult in the edit. You've often watched a comedy film, and at the end they have the outtakes. Will Ferrell in particular comes to mind, where he's doing the same scene. He does it about 20 different ways. And I usually say to myself, how in the name of God does the editor know which scene to pick? It's really, really difficult. I think you'd only make it more difficult for the edit if you did go over the top, which you could easily do on this,
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah, I think like if you were speaking to Oren, like he was obviously first AD, and he was running all the very strict time schedule we had to keep to get it all done, you know. And yeah, it was like, hey, we got 13 minutes to get this shot and then start setting up for the next one. So, you know, just stick to the script, please, Niamh, you
yeah,
know.
stick to the script. Yeah. And how long did it take you to shoot the film?
So we shot it, I think, over 2.5 days in the end. So over one weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So, are you bitten by the bug now? Do you want to write more screenplays? Or do you want to delve just a little bit deeper into the pool of independent cinema?
I really, really do. I think I've definitely been bitten by the bug. It's you know, it's just been such an eye opener. Like this industry is very, very supportive, I've felt, in me stepping out, and I've just really felt like people are willing to help you along the way, especially when you're a young artist or young writer, filmmaker. The support that I've found and as I say, the contacts that I've made, um, yeah, I'm just really excited to work with these people again, you know, and make more stuff. Um, so yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna keep going. I'm writing something at the minute that I would love to get made, and just having completed something, you know, I think as a writer sometimes it can be difficult. You're writing and you're like, oh, is anyone ever going to actually see this? But to have something made to fruition where people have seen it and it's been well received, it's given me such a buzz to be like, oh, it is possible to get your stuff out there. And you know yourself, like as an actor, a lot of the time you don't have a lot of power over your career. You know, you're always asking for permission, whether it's a casting director or a director. You're asking for permission to make your art. Whereas finding this now, and this passion, I don't need to ask permission anymore. I can just do it. I can do it myself. You know, and yeah. So that yeah. To answer your question, absolutely.
Fantastic. There's some great comic stand-ups that have delved into the world of short filmmaking and feature filmmaking, and like down south. If I think about actually one great actor is Keith Singleton, who's moved to Northern Ireland. He's a Dublin guy, and Keith's been nominated for a Best Actor award for a fantastic film called Beyond Cut
Mhm.
by Simon O'Neill. He's up for a Best Actor award. And I think of the likes of Joe Rooney as well. Joe's on the stand-up stage for a long, long time, but now he's branched out to shorts and to feature films. So it's an exciting time. I can tell you now. I know guys in the comedy scene in Dublin that would kill for your script to be able to shoot that in the south.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is you're talking about it. Everybody is so helpful within the industry. You're certainly right about that. So there is a lot of collaboration, and at Underground Cinema, what we did was we used to showcase, and we still do, we showcase these films in front of a live audience, in front of your peers. And what happens afterwards? There was a big networking thing. Then afterwards, a lot of people just sat around and chatted afterwards, and it was always constructive and not destructive. I learned that from theatre.
Yeah, yeah.
You do a lot. I used to do a lot of festivals back in the day, and when you've an adjudicator out there talking about your performance, and if they're destructive, it can really demotivate you. But the whole idea is to be constructive, and I think there's an awful lot of that going on within the industry now at the moment.
Yeah.
It's funny. Just recently, a friend of mine, he's a filmmaker, Alan Dunn. We've been talking about this quite a lot. Over the past, say, 5 or 6 years in underground cinema, we've received an awful lot of films from Northern Ireland.
Right. Okay.
Standard in Northern Ireland is excellent. It's superb. It's a different style of filmmaking to some of the shorts and features that are in the south at the moment. And what Alan and I would love to do is to start maybe getting a collective of filmmakers and actors together from both north and from the south as well together, and to put some magic together. We know enough people in Northern Ireland now at the moment, and we certainly know them in the South, to really put something magical together. Maybe we might touch base with you, Niamh.
Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, I think let's unite the Ireland creatively.
Well, listen, it's been great talking to you. I know you're on stage tonight. How long is your run?
So we've done 2 weeks. We've got 2 more weeks to go. Yeah, loving it. Absolutely loving it.
And just let everyone know what the show is.
Oh yeah, pitch it. The show is called Yerma. It's a Spanish play written in the 1930s that's been adapted to modern day Dundalk, and it's a really, really fast-paced. It's funny. It's very, very dark. Big themes, and it's on in the Lyric Theatre, in the Naughton Studio, by Tinderbox Productions.
Fantastic. Niamh, we wish you the very best of luck in the rest of the run of the show. We can't wait to see what you got next for us. Maybe Dead on Arrival too. We'll come up with a catchier. We'll come up with a catchier title.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dave.
Okay. Thanks a million, Niamh. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.